When I was in the Air Force stationed up in Anchorage, I met this black guy from Washington, D.C. named Myron Gray. And Myron Gray is the guy that really politicized me. He started to tell me about black politics. And then he said, your people were put in camp. And I looked at him, I said, what do you mean? Growing up, I knew there was a camp, but I had no idea what the camp was about, you know, because as my parents' friends would come over, they'd always say, what block were you from, or what camp were you in?
In every family gathering, in every meeting of a stranger that was Japanese American, it always became some kind of reference. And so it just couldn't help but be something that begged to be asked. What is this camp experience about? What is it?
I thought my mother was talking about summer camp because she talked about dances and she talked about all of these friends she made and how she just had so much fun. People referenced it, but no one wanted to say what it was.
Even though I was in camp, I really buried the experience. And, you know, I very seldom thought about it. And that was very easy because I didn't want to talk about it. My parents didn't want to talk about it. The whole Nisei generation didn't want to talk about it. That's something to be ashamed of. It's like a prison record. I wanted to avoid that.
There was no way to find information in one place. You had to dig it up yourself. But then I also found out that it's an unpopular thing to do.
A lot of the Nisei were so angry. Why are you digging up this old story that it's better left buried? I kept wondering if it wasn't that important and people didn't want to look at it, then why are they getting so mad at me when I brought it up?
The Vietnam War was happening and the Civil Rights Movement was really going on. You saw things happening on TV every day.
This concept started to really anchor me. Who was I?
I had a good business as a commercial photographer. Money was not a problem. Yet basically, I had this dissatisfaction, you know, what am I doing with my life? Where do I belong?
Just like people no longer were Negroes and started to become black, I felt the same challenge that I needed to define what I was rather than live up to someone else's definition.
We knew one thing for sure, right, that we had to reclaim our own history. In fact, that's when, you know, we decided that we were Asian rather than Oriental.
Things were starting all over the country simultaneously, and we figured we gotta march somewhere. We just gotta march somewhere, but we don't know where to march to. It's gotta have some symbolic, political essence to it. But what about this camp thing that we keep hearing about? Why don't we march to one of the camps? And the camp we hear is the closest we're gonna march to Manzanar.
And then we just talked about it a little bit and we decided, well, we don't even know where Manzanar is. Let's go check it out.
So we drove up there and we're going toward the Sierra Nevada mountains on a clear autumn day. And it's just magnificent.
And all of a sudden you see this white monument, you know, out in the middle of nowhere.
Like a beacon, just bam.
And then as you drive up on it, it has Japanese writing on it.